Another dull day passes as you struggle to manage your failing farm. Your crops are beginning to wilt and your cow is sick. For some time the land has been very quiet. The air has grown thick and foul. Each passing day you feel more uncertain if things are ever going to return to how they were before. Perhaps it is up to you. You've made up your mind. You're going to do something about it. You stand in front of your humble home, pondering what you should do next. Let's go to the shed, I think. You attempt to open the shed door, but the door won't budge. You remember locking it some time ago. You can't remember what you did with the key. Let's go downstairs. Entering the house, you feel a subtle uneasiness as if growing blight outside has penetrated your walls of your safe haven. From what you see, however, everything is the same as you left it. Perhaps this may be a good time to just lay in bed and wish that your problems would just go away. You fight the notion, but the temptation is still there. Open your chest. You open the chest and find nothing more than a pile of papers. It seems you have less values than you anticipated. You close the chest. Read your chest. Another usual day on the farm. The crops are growing in good health. Bethan is also doing quite well. Never disappointed with the milk she provides. If things continue to go well, I may be able to invest in more animals. A farmer can only be so social with a cow. Dear Journal, today has been an unfortunate day. Someone broke into my stead and stole some things. I usually don't mind if someone steals a bite to eat from the garden, but to take my equipment, well, I put a lock on the door and hid the key. Nobody ever gets my stuff again. Dear Journal, I woke up one night to a foul smell I've never come across before. I took a step outside to see what I could find, but I could find nothing after searching about the farm. Whatever it is, it must be bad. I should make a trip to the city to see what it's about. Okay. See, it seems quite interesting. It seems like you've got the choices in front of you, and depending on what you choose depends on what ends up happening. And I quite like that, you know. So we'll see. You stand in front of your humble home, pondering what you should do next. Well, I've done the shed, I've done the crops, I've done the house, so I guess I'll have the crops. The path divides the crops you have laboured so hard to prosper these past months. The penetrating odour reminds you that these plants are decaying away and time is running short. The 7th up. I've literally just woken up. Go into the house, go into the path, follow the path. I'll go into the poor little cow. Toxic fume burns your nose as you into the pen. Your poor cow lays lifeless on the ground as the growing blight slowly begins to consume her body. You feel sick to your stomach as you stand here, especially as you stare at the black mushrooms that dot the ground. You inspect the water looking for anything abnormal. You notice that the water has a dark consistency to it. Dropping a stone into it, black particles from the bottom swirl around like a thunderstorm. Your face shrills in disgust. You kneel down and grow a mushroom. As you begin to rip it out of the ground, a cloud of spores spraying on the mushroom. Your hands begin to burn and melt as you observe. Slowly your body shrills into a dark, moist consistency as the poison spreads. You die, eventually, after crawling out from the ground. Your adventure ends here. Well, that's one way to die, I suppose. Give it another day. Alright, so we're going to go onto the path this time because we know what's going to happen. The only thing I'm not sure of is if you have to activate the bit with the cow so that your character has no knowledge for later. So I'm thinking I might look at the water anyway. I'll inspect the water as we've already done. I won't grab the mushrooms this time because we all know how that ends. Follow the path. You continue down the trail for a while until you see a cave off in the distance. You pause, questioning if there could be something helpful in there. Why not? There is a faint whistle from the wind passing between the rocks. The temperature significantly cools as you enter the cave. You notice there is a different smell. You welcome it, comparing it to the death of lighthouse salt. Oh shit. Before you take your next step, a lot of bear emerges from the darkness. You realise that you've made a terrible mistake, even thinking that something helpful can be in here. Run away. The moment you turn to run, the bear roars with a deep growl, shaking loose the stone of the cave, and that is making it back home in one piece. When you make it to the trail, then the bear catches up with you, tackling you to the ground. You scream in pain as the bear rips you apart. Your adventure ends here. Yes, that's saying, it's different. Perhaps that should have been a bit of a warning. Just saying. Right, continue down the path. You come to a stop as you stumble upon a broken wagon. Inspect the wagon. You look about the mess and bits of food and clothes scattered around the scene. You notice a key on the ground during your search. You pick up the key and continue on your way. After what felt like an hour or two, you reach a bridge. Nearby the path is a small shack, similar to the house you have on your farm. The man that lives here is a kind fellow from what you can call. Maybe he is home. You walk towards the structure and knock on the door. You scratch the back of your head, feeling that the person that lives here is currently occupied, if not elsewhere. You able to pick up a key from the wagon and you use it on the door. The door unlocks. You decide to help yourself to well. There's scratches going down to the basement. Okay. Observing the empty room, you realise something terrible must have taken place here. The room is a wreck, just like the wagon. You are overcome with fear as you think of the man that used to drive here. You pick up the book and start to flip through the pages. You discover this journal, reading a passage or two part note. Today's trading went smoothly, thank goodness. What I am thrilled the most about, however, is that one of my buddies mentioned to me at the conclusion of our day. Apparently there is a good pond nearby that has some of the biggest fish in the region. With a good catch, I can make enough to move things forward. With the water as it is, that's not a good idea. I was caught off guard when he mentioned that nobody has been able to catch any from there. I guess your typical fishing rod won't do the trick, but what could be done about it? Something to be intrigued about, I suppose. These past couple of weeks have been really tough for me. My trading business has gone under, and I have lost nearly everything I own. This has pushed me to extremes, but I can't be helped. I am leaving this place forever, never to return. The land is dying, and there is nothing but darkness here. Anyone reading this should leave by now. You can't find a name to give to this man, but regardless of the name, you've got children and offspring. I really don't know what's down there. So why not? You observe the truck and notice a lock keeping it closed. With the key, you unlock the hatch and get in. Without thinking, you travel down it. Walking down the steps leading below, the air attacks your body with a piercing cold. You notice immediately there's a woman chained to the wall. Nice guy then. She didn't seem to notice you as you studied her. You feel darkness surround you as you stay in this awful place. You tremble as you try to form words in your mouth. You there, let me out here. The pressure of such demand makes you freeze. You take a moment to think about the situation before you respond. What got you locked up to begin with? You'll never believe me even if I told you the truth. Something brought you here. Please have mercy on me. You approach the woman and a lot of shadows that bind her. As her arms become free, she moans in pain. Thank you so much. The woman struggles to regain her strength and starts to stand up on her own. As she gets up, she turns towards you. I'll now do you a favour. For fuck's sake. Simply the face of the helpless woman disappears as a horrible image manifests itself before you. Feel the chilling grip of bone hands lock onto your arms. Energy flees from your body and you fall to your knees. You feel the essence of your life slip away as everything goes black. It is unfortunately your own journey into the end. Leave the shack. She's fine. She's fine. It's all good. You cross the bridge safely and continue down the trail. After all that had happened, you feel that you should take a moment to rest. You find a spot under a tree and sit down. Getting comfortable, you tip your head back against the tree and gaze into the sky. As you forget the grass blades in your reach, the ground begins to shake, and before you get out, the roots from below sprout from the ground and wrap around your legs. You turn around to see a large angry face looking back at you. Your jaw drops in horror. No sound or screaming takes your tongue as the tightening grip of the roots squeeze what air is left out of your body. Alright, so I'm not going to pick the grass this time. I'm going to take a nap. Your eyes close and your body relaxes, you fall asleep within seconds. As your mind wanders, you see a blurry image. Details emerge as you gaze. You wonder who this might be. A bad feeling then uncomes you, realise who this is. You try to wake yourself up. You wake up and jump to your feet, looking about yourself and your surroundings. All seems well. You can't help but feel fearful that something bad will happen to you if you stay here. Moving forward seems like the only logical option there. You reach a point where the trail splits into two paths. Which way should you go? Let's go left. After continuing down the path some time, you come to a stop. You notice there is some sort of trail that leads through the grass up towards a nearby hill. If you had not stopped, you probably would have never noticed. Which way do you go? Follow the trail down the grass. Following the soft trail of grass, you stumble on a grove. This isn't the only one. Before you can touch the sword, go to the figure appears before you. You freeze before the apparition. The sword, may I have it? The blade is cursed, I am bound here by the pain of my past. If you desire this sword, free me from it. You slowly motion for the sword. Fool, only something of pure essence can free me. A rare hope, like a flower found in darkness. You listen to the spectre and leave the sword. The figure fades out of view. Continuing. You pause to see there is a lake nearby. The trail continues on to the right. Just have an idea. Safe. Go back. Trail in the grass. Oh no, that is that. Anyway. You walk for some time in an endless field of grass. There is a stone well near the path. Go on. You peer down in the well. Other than the open water at the bottom, there is a coin resting against the wall of the well. If possible, you should go down and take the coin. No, I'm not taking that coin. No way. Because I'll fall in. I know it. I suppose all having outcomes along or not. Here we go. You lean over the edge of the well. There is no possible way you can obtain the coin by reaching it. With this in mind, you turn and climb along the inner wall from there. You take a few successful steps down, but then your luck runs out. You misplace your foot and fall. Tumbling about, your body clashes against the stone walls. With a single knock of the head, you lose all consciousness of your accident. With a splash, you fall into the water. Your body sinks effortlessly, and you drown without realising. And you. Right, let's not go into the well this time. Looking over the hills of grass and grain, you see the walls of Aramon. Several times a year, you come here to trade goods from your farm. You discover that the plague has spread from your farm has also spread all the way up here. The path before you is overrun with blight. You have come all your way, you don't have to turn back now. You march forward into the tainted soil. I knew it! I knew it! Before you realise what happens, you sink completely under the ill soil. Darkness consumes you, your lungs struggle for air. Your body burns in pain as you suffocate and die. I knew it. Right, go back. back to the grass tree. So I know going that way is no good, I know going that way is no good. So, back to where it's split then, I suppose. Let's go right. We reach the end of the pathway. In the distance is a tower looking over the area. Alright guys, so I'm going to leave that one there. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. I would appreciate it. Any suggestions for what you should want me to play as well, let me know as well. Remember to give it a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. For now, bye bye.